glad you could join us tonight. Tonight we have a great guest with us, Joanie. She will be talking about how the light has been, how she's been able to use the light and the effects that it has had on her body. And I'm sure you're going to find it very interesting. So we will get started in a few moments here. I want to also mention that we are, for everybody that's joining us tonight, you will be entered in a ballot. And every time you join us, like once a week, you'll be entered in into the ballot. And one at the end of the month, someone will find that they're a winner of the ultimate $1,300 value, and we'll send it out to you. So we are going to get started in just a moment here. So we're going to start off with a video.
PBM stands for Photobiomodulation. Photo being light, bio being biology, and light, well, light coming from some kind of source. In this case, PBM is used to help stimulate healing in the body, whether it's an LED, whether it's a laser, whether it's the sun, but that light comes through the skin layers, and actually the cells are able to absorb that light, converting it to energy, and then there's a host of different processes that are stimulated because of that light. So you can speed up healing, you can do different things that is very beneficial for the cells themselves, for healing, for reduction of inflammation, and a host of other things. Kerber USA is a company that we have set up to promote healing for the US and around the world. We would like to see this technology help a lot of people. We use LED technology where we can provide high amounts of light into the body, and that stimulates healing. I'd like to introduce you to the SunPowerLED Palm Ultimate. This device here has the most power of the series of devices. This light can produce a huge amount of light that can enter into the body and help speed up that healing. In this device, we have two different wavelengths. It's 660 nanometer, and as you can see, it's very bright, but it's very effective. You will cause a systemic effect with this wavelength of light. The other wavelength is 810. It's not very visible, but it penetrates very deep, and that can help as well reach the target that you're trying to reach. The main part about this light is that we have the power behind it and the large surface area that can reach very deep into the body. We believe that our product is the most powerful LED cluster under the sun. We have specification of this device of 150 milliwatts per square centimeter, and that is over this entire area of 40 square centimeters. It also provides a wall of light that comes through the skin and is able to reach depths that have never been able to be done before with other light products on the market. There's an interesting biblical passage in Malachi 4:2 that talks about the healing that comes from the rays of the sun. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide healing with these rays. PBM has also been shown in various studies to be able to help promote healing in wounds such as diabetic ulcers, venous ulcers, and other areas where cuts or burns or other types of wounds are on the skin level. If you have any questions about PBM and how our light device, the SunPowerLED Palm series, can help you, please reach out to us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Well, excellent. I'm glad you could join us tonight. As I mentioned, please in the chat say you're from Hawaii, because we've had people join us from Hawaii. We've had people join us from Colombia. We've had people join us from England, from Australia, from New Zealand, to all over the US, parts of Canada. So let us know. It's always fun to see. Anyways, tonight we got Joanie Baker. Joanie has done years of teaching Pilates and a number of other things that she will bring up. And so, Joanie, if you could join us, that'd be great.
Hi.
Excellent, excellent. So glad you could join us tonight. And tell us a little more. Tell us about what you're an instructor. So tell us about what you've been doing in that area.
Thank you, Tom. It's my pleasure to be here tonight. It really is. Well, I started teaching fitness in general back in 1993, and I was always a fitness instructor, mad lady, just, teaching 24 classes a week and taking courses and becoming a personal trainer and learning how to keep active. And we were way before our time because now it's a revolution, right? You have to do it or you got to keep moving. So then I did it my first 10K race, and I became very sore in my legs. I had shin splints so badly that I knew I couldn't do that anymore. So I found out about Pilates, and I joined Stott Pilates, and then I found Body Harmonics. I went through their examination processes, and I ended up being with Body Harmonics Canada. And so I was training and going through all their university, and I graduated way back in 2001, I guess, and then started again in 2007. So I've been teaching restorative Pilates for since then. And now I'm really just focused on restorative Pilates.
That's excellent. And so, how did you hear about us?
Well, Sue Ann Watkins, she works with me. We work together at Core. And she was telling me about this group of people that get together and share their life with us and where they work or what their knowledge. And she said that you, Tom, um, she got this light and she was all excited. And I said, what about this light? And she says, it's for healing. And I went, for pain? And she goes, yeah, lots of pain. I said, I want to know about this. So she let me use hers. And I thought, oh, this is
A good friend, a really good friend.
very good friend. And she, I didn't stop using it. She'd bring it in every day and we worked. And then after work, I'd go in the room and I'd treat myself. And then she treated clients like she would help anybody. So I was very grateful. And I said, well, I have to have one because I can't just keep borrowing yours. So I did. I invested because it's in my health. And I'm surprised. I'm really pleased. I'm actually excited.
Yeah, and about how long ago was it that you got the light?
6 weeks.
Okay, all right. And what has happened for you?
Well, I don't know what's going on with me, but I have inflammation of some sort. And um, I just put the light on my legs and around my hips because this is where the pain was. And I thought, oh, I just have osteoarthritis, or maybe I don't know yet. I haven't been diagnosed yet, but I couldn't really take my leg away from me out to the side without pain. And I couldn't really walk fast. My gait was shorter because the pain was so bad inside the hip, radiating from the pelvis down into the knees. And so I was like, I don't know. I just didn't understand what was happening. So the red light, once I got it, I started treating myself. And I remembered that to get any results, you must do it at least twice a day. Well, 3 times would be better, but I work, so twice a night. So twice a day, morning and night. So I've been using it. And my pain, I was at, let's say 99%. My pain was when I was walking. I think I'm at maybe 40 or 50% already because I still move with it, but I treat myself every night, 5 minutes in one spot, 5 minutes in another spot, 5 minutes around the knees. I'm even going longer. And I get up early in the morning and do the same thing. And I'm feeling really, I'm walking better. I'm feeling good. Like I can feel the difference. There's something happening here.
And so not only are you seeing some relief in the hips, but you've also tried it on some other things. Can you tell
Yes,
us
my
more?
thyroid. I think my energy has changed. I believe that my thyroid is running low, and I don't feel low, because normally with low thyroid, my doctor predicted that I would put weight back on. And no, I'm still staying the same. I don't
Yep,
know.
that's a very, very usual for low thyroids for people to end up slowing down, putting on weight, sometimes more severe depression, just a host of different challenges, and sleeping too often, that kind of thing. So you used it on your thyroid, and what did you find with it? You got more energy
Well,
then?
now I can last longer. I'm not feeling fatigued during the day. Like before, when I wasn't using the light, I just felt like crying, burying my head, lying down, and just let that pass. But now when I got off work, I say, "Oh, thank goodness I'm more at home now. I'm tired." But no, I'm doing more now. I can go out shopping after I'm almost like I'm 36 again. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but no, I just feel energetic. I even bumped into a person in the health food store, a Healthy Planet, and she says, "Oh, I love your energy." And she's an energy worker, right? And I said, "Well, oh, well, thank you very much," right? I guess I don't know what made her see my aura or whatever, but she said, "I love your energy." And I said, "Oh, thank you." So it's just coming across really nicely now. My face is different. I've been using it on my face too, and I'm
Okay.
amazed at, like, I don't look 70. Like I I can't believe I'm 70. And this light has even made me have a better complexion. Like, my wrinkles will always be there, but I'm excited about the youthfulness and the color of
Yeah.
the face.
Yeah, well, over time too, it can even help with that. But as far as it helps with collagen production, that's huge. Very, very necessary. Still, as you would tell everybody in the audience, is that it's very good to also nutritionally support
Which
what
I
you're
do.
doing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you were doing good nutritional stuff before you started using the red light, and now that you're using the red light, now you're really seeing some benefit from that. So,
Yeah.
did you also experience some dizziness? Is this something that you?
Yeah, I suffered from vertigo, sort of like swells of changing positions, um, blood pressure, I guess. And then, but when I got dizzy, I had a dull headache, and so I would put the light right where my head is. I don't do it all the time because I don't have a headache all the time, but it's nice to know that it's here, because when I do have a headache, which could be caused by not drinking enough water or whatever, not enough nutrition. But when I do put the light on, the headache disappears within 10 minutes for me.
Yeah, this is something that we were able to see many, many times as people with headaches be able to turn that around. Or the best one that was kind of fun is it's quite a number of webinars ago, probably a year ago, a woman that suffered from severe migraines, and they were up to like over 20 a month. And she said, and as a young mother, she was suffering with that for 5 years, and she said she would have to go in a room, and her husband was trying to cover for her, and because she couldn't operate, and she has been using the light, and within a month, all the migraines were gone, and she has been migraine free for 5 years now. So headaches, migraines. Really beneficial, even seizures. There's another fellow we had on who experienced seizures, grand mal seizures, and was treated a certain spot on his head where they knew that he had a lesion on his brain, and now he's free of seizures for 3 years. He'd know the symptoms coming into it. He'd feel something coming on, and so it worked. It's been working very, very well for him. And the funny part is, he's has very thin hair up here, balding pretty good. But since he's been treating himself for the past 3 years, he has this extra patch of hair right in the center where he's treating. So it does help with hair growth as well. And we know some women that it's been helpful for that too. So it's just a whole host of different things. And I know your friend was able to see, who gave you the light, she was able to see some things in her own life. Do you remember? I can't remember, but she said what she has experienced. I know it helped her with something I can't remember now. Do you remember or not?
I think it was about maybe some skin issues, maybe, or it could be about her.
Okay. Anyways, I can't remember right now, but
No,
it was wonderful to see all the different kinds of issues that one can have and to be able to improve them. It gives life back, doesn't it?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And sometimes it's something that you're going to have to do on an ongoing basis. Could be for the rest of your life, or could be for a long, months of time, and then that symptom finally disappears because you've been working on the root cause. You're not just putting a Band-Aid over it. You're not taking a drug that causes other issues, other side effects. Well, Joanie, is there anything else that you thought of that you wanted to share with our audience here?
No, I'm just very grateful that I found some relief after using it after 3 weeks. Now, this is 6 weeks now, and the pain used to permeate down the right side of my leg, and now it doesn't. It's very mild now, and I am still having pain, but it's not like it was. I can walk longer. Like I said, I measured it from that. I could hardly walk when I started. Now I'm walking maybe 12 or 15 steps a day instead of 8, or not even that, maybe 3 or 4,000. Because when I was in pain, it was only 4,000 steps I was working. That was it.
And that just promotes healing when you can get mobile again. It just promotes all sorts of healing.
Yes. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And maybe if you just turn off your video, if there's a question that comes up that's specific to you, we will be able to ask you. So please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanie, for joining us tonight. Well, I'd like to share with everyone a little bit of the technology then that Joanie's been using. So we have different products. We have what we call the professional, which is a device like this. It has the 2 wavelengths, 660 and 810 nanometer. The 660 is rather bright. The 810 is a dim setting. That can penetrate much deeper, whereas the bright light doesn't penetrate as deep, but it's actually able to help with the blood, work on the blood and improve the blood. What it does is it puts energy into the cells is what it does, and that helps the cells be able to do all sorts of things. So whether that be if you're in training to help with endurance, or after the fact to recover from the training, light can be used, in particular red and near infrared, which penetrates. This just gives you a quick showing of when we're talking of light, you can see the light going right through my hand here. And so that's the 660. And the 810, if you could see it with your visible eyes, you would see it just coming really strong right through my hand. We have the next model up, which is the Ultimate, and the Ultimate has 25% more power, and it allows us to penetrate just a little bit deeper and do things a little faster. So if you're trying to treat deeper areas in the body, the Ultimate is where to go with. And then our most recent one that we developed is the Super Palm. It's the 660 nanometer wavelength, the same red wavelength as you saw there. And then and then we have the 1050. And the 1050 right now is totally invisible to my eyes. This is our Super Palm. It's so if you have on the camera, you can actually see those purplish dots. We do have a red indicator here, and that just tells you it's working because you can't see anything on this, but you do on the camera. You see those little purplish dots. You feel the energy though. I can feel considerable energy coming from this, and that's penetrating deeper. There is some research out there that's starting to look at the possibility that this type 1050 nanometer wavelength can have an effect on and create structured water. It's some more research has to go into it, but there's they figure structured water is really what's happening inside the cells of the body, and it's very, very helpful to helping the cells to work properly. So it's something newer, and the wavelength being a little longer can penetrate a little deeper. It's only after you get past 1350 nanometers, which, like I say, between about 800 to 1350, it's totally invisible to the eyes. It's so you can't see it, but those wavelengths can penetrate deeper. And then when it comes beyond 1350, when we're talking about far infrared cannot penetrate into the body. And the reason being is the water in your skin absorbs those longer wavelengths. And so I had made a product back 15 years ago, and one of the things is based on halogen light technology. And one thing about that is, if you knew the small little bulbs that went in the ceiling, if you tried to put your hand in front of it, you'd burn very, very quickly, because the far infrared that's coming out of the bulb would actually heat up the water in your skin and the very surface of the skin. That happens extremely quickly. So if you would know that, because if you pass by a hot stove, you feel that heat radiating on your hand. That's far infrared. So I actually developed a product that's called the Genesis. This goes back 15 years ago. At that time, LEDs were very expensive. They were $70 an LED. And so to have enough power, it would have been far too expensive to have a home use device that used the LEDs. So I worked on how to come up with a light source that would be able to treat people for different things. Once I learned in my own situation how much of a benefit it was. In my case, it was for my lower back. I would get these muscle spasms every year, 2 years, and it'd be very painful, and they last for months. And when I learned that light could make such a difference on my back, I developed the home use unit. So this device would use a halogen light bulb inside here, but there's special water filtering in here. So the water that's in your skin would not be absorbing the heat, because the water in here would first remove all of those wavelengths. So all wavelengths beyond 1350, 4,000, 8,000 were all absorbed by the water layer that was inside this unit. So we were able to, instead of having this burn somebody very quickly because of being a halogen bulb, you could put it on an area and treat for quite a length of time. And we were able to help so many people over the last 15 years with this older device. Now my palm light has just a little bit bigger area, as you can see, and a light area where the light comes out of. And we have even a little more power than this device, and so it does really beautiful things. Now it's like a continuation from what we developed before. Another thing that's really, really important with our devices is that we have a very even amount of illumination. So this is, you can see it's very even over that whole area of the light. I'm just shining through a piece of paper here. But if we take a competitor's device, it's just going to drop little points of light, little and you can see these points of light, so it's not continuous. So you're missing all of this area all the way around everywhere, as far as it's not providing any energy out of there. It's only providing energy right under those spots. So those spots then are something that does not, it's only points of light, where we have what we call in our trademark wall of light. So that gives you a little idea of and then we have the mini canopy here. And the mini canopy is a device that you can raise and lower wherever you're putting it, and you can put it, then tilt it and put it over top your body, and you can treat with the red light, and you can also see the near infrared light there coming out of this device. This here is what we call the mini canopy, and it has 15 times the area of the palm, so it can treat a much larger area of the back or the neck or legs. And so ideal for a clinic setting, although we have quite a number of people that bought this for their personal use because of being in severe pain. We also have we have what's called the canopy, which is 6 of these. So if you can imagine 3 of these long and 2 of them high, we cover quite a large area. So it does the whole back and neck in one shot very, very nicely. So that's our canopy. All of this can be found on our website, www.SunPowerLED. And please feel free to ask us questions. Send us questions to info@SunPowerLED, and we'll try and answer them as to how the light works. As well, we're starting to set up some treatment centers where this light can be wellness centers where you can go in and try the light technology. Get in contact with us, and we'll see if there's somewhere near you. If you'd like to join in and actually be one of those providers, that'd be great. There's obviously a business model where you can help people at the same time as have a business. This happens to be our helmet. This here just lowers down on top of a person's head, and we have the red wavelength and the near infrared wavelength as well. So that's the different devices. There's some other things in research that we have, and we're moving it forward. We just had a research trial with the helmet in West Virginia that's going to be published very soon for opiate addiction and depression, where they put the helmet on people that had opiate addiction and depression problems in West Virginia, and they were able to see that the ones that in the treatment group were able to improve in a number of different ways, whereas the ones that didn't have the treatment didn't have that benefit. So, and that was only 2 treatments a week for 4 minutes with the helmet. So we're pretty happy about that happening. We have been able to show that if using a very, very specialized device called the culminating sphere that I've purchased, it's like think of it like an exercise ball with a hole in the top, about a 2-inch diameter hole, and or actually 3-inch, and we cut it down to 2-inch. And the ball is totally solid aluminum, or solid layer of aluminum. And so you put your sensor inside, and no light can come in from anywhere except through this small opening in the top. What happens then is when you shine light into that small opening, you can measure light properties very, very accurately as you go into into this ball. The ball does what it does in engineering. It allows us to very accurately measure the amount of optical power coming through that hole. And it wouldn't matter if the source is a laser or an LED, it would work the same way. So as far as measurement would be extremely accurate. So if you had 5,000 milliwatts of light power coming into it, it wouldn't matter whether it's 5,000 milliwatts from a laser or 5,000 milliwatts from an LED. We were able to do this study, do some research at University of Buffalo. And what we did is we put one stake on top of that hole. And so we have a much larger stake like this. And we put 2 stakes thickness and 3 stakes thickness. So altogether about 2¼ inches. That would be about 5 centimeters thick of pork breast tissue. And, pork, that was for another study. Pork or steak or chicken. We tried all 3 types of mediums, flesh. And what we were able to see is when we started out on top with our light shining through that, whether it was 1 steak, 2 steak, 3 steak, 1 pork chop, 2 pork chop, 3 pork chop, when we put our light on top of it and we tried the different wavelengths, whether it be 660, 810, or 1050, that if we had a given amount of power coming out of our units, which we do, we know that it's around, I'll just say generally speaking, 5 to 7 watts of power, 5 to 7,000 milliwatts of light power, we were able to measure very accurately what was coming through all that tissue. Why would we do that? Well, the reason why we want to do that is we want to see if you're treating your shoulder, how much light is actually going to end up in the center of your shoulder after going through that much tissue, or when you're trying to treat your hip, or when you're trying to treat your brain, how much is actually getting through the tissues. So as it turned out, we were able to take our light, the different lights, and we compared them to lasers that would run between $10,000 and $30,000, and we were able to measure tit for tat 5 optical watts from our device, 5 optical watts from the laser, and our devices ended up having the same amount of energy coming through all that tissue compared to the lasers. So instead of spending $10,000 to $30,000, our lights in the range from $1,000 to $1,900 would have the same effect. So we were able, and that's because we have a large area of light here, this large area, and it's coming out of here. It's a little different in a laser than a laser. Well, it's very different. Okay, a laser generally, unless they might use a diffuser on the tip, it's going to go in all directions once it comes out of that tip going to the diffuser. But here's the thing, is it didn't matter what type of tip we put on the laser, it still ended up having the same amount of energy getting through all that tissue. So that'd be like how much energy is going to reach the joint. Didn't matter whether, then you could do a parallel to that. Wouldn't matter whether the light source was a laser or whether it's an LED or even the sun. But I got to say, with the sun puts out across the whole band from blue, UV, UVC, UVB, UVA, and then you go into blue, and then green, and then an orange, kind of like, and then red, and then near infrared is the spectrum, and then far infrared for the sun. So the sun would put out all of those wavelengths, and the power coming out of the sun is 100 milliwatts per square centimeter. So a tenth of a watt per square centimeter. We have, over this large area, we have 5 watts or a little higher, and we have anywhere from 150 milliwatts to 180 milliwatts per square centimeter coming out of this. So it's higher than the sun, but the thing is that instead of all the power from the sun being all over all these wavelengths. We've got all of the power coming in at that wavelength of 660 or 810 or 1050. It's all that power is concentrated at that wavelength. So that's why we're able to see what we've been able to see with this study is that, and that I'll be presenting that. We'll also be presenting the study out of West Virginia that's showing how our helmet, which is basically 10 of these units distributed over the whole area of the skull. So it saves a lot of time. Sure, one can have the same effect by doing 10 minutes, 1 minute of the red, 3 minutes of the near infrared, and going around and treating the entire skull on top and on the sides and on the back. But this does it with 10 of them all the way around. And the way we've got the lights oriented in there, it's quite an even coverage with a significant amount of power. For those that are interested in the number of joules, we're delivering 25 joules per second out of our device. And that's why even in 4 minutes, we have a considerable amount of energy that's able to go into the brain. If you go to our older webinars, or go back in time a couple months, we have an individual that suffers from Lewy body dementia, and he was able to improve his situation. We have others that have had dementia that have improved. We're also strokes, concussions. So the light can get into the brain. But the one thing is the red, again, it really is good for stimulating the blood flow, and the near infrared is something that is able to the near infrared is able to penetrate much deeper. So very, very shortly, we're going to have another short video here, just showing you some video of how it can be used on the body.
15 years back, I realized that light could make a huge difference on the body. I ended up designing this very powerful light using LED technology. With this amount of very high power density, it can reach through the tissues and travel right to the joints. But the key is that the power density and the area is extremely important to deliver that light into that. The mitochondria receives that light and converts that energy into the cell. So it's like giving the cell super high octane fuel, and they run like a jet, and they're able to do all the things for repair in that. What are the products we have? Well, we have a small device, which is actually large when it comes to light therapy. You have a fairly large area of light and a high power density that can be used for different parts of the body, like your finger, shoulder, back, neck, knees, ankle, anywhere on the body. And then we have what's called the mini canopy, which is about a foot square in size. And then we have our full-size canopy, which is basically 6 of the mini canopies. And then we have another device, which is the helmet, and that device can help for mental issues, for brain injuries, for concussions, for PTSD, TBI, all of those kinds of things. And there's new research out there that shows it could be helpful for not only strokes, but dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's, and just different brain issues. Our plans are to move this technology into every area of the world where there's pain and inflammation, which is basically everywhere, and to expand that so people understand all the applications where this technology can be used to help them in their health in the body as a wellness device. People are looking for how they can treat themselves without drugs.
All right, so give you a little more seeing how in actual use, how it can be used. Now, I'm going to ask Joanie to come back on when you can. There's a question about how you were using it on your thyroid, and also how did you end up using it for your brain with the dizziness. But in the meantime, I'll just mention until Joanie comes on. So people commented they're coming from all over. Just a few places here I'll mention. We got from Toronto, from Oklahoma City, from Washington State, and a number of highs. So, all right. So, Joanie, you want to mention how you were using it on your thyroid?
Yes, that wasn't clear. I didn't only use it for 5 minutes. I meant to say, it's better if I say it this way. It was 3 minutes on red and 2 minutes on near infrared,
Right.
but twice a day, and that would add up to 5 minutes on my thyroid.
Right.
I wasn't sure because of the thin skin, like
Right.
because of the heat. I wasn't sure how long, but I've been using it for 3 on red and 2 minutes on the infrared.
Right.
That's it.
And about how long have you been doing that?
It's about 6 weeks.
Okay, there we go. There you go, folks. Thank you. And also, there was another question here. Just give me a moment. Actually, I'll answer a few of these questions. Okay, could PBM help with collagen in the arms and legs and back and neck? This is Maynard. And Maynard, yes, they have shown that in studies that red light can help with the collagen production. So I happen to know that that's there. And by the way, if people want to search that out, they can go to www.SunPowerLED and go under the research tab and be able to see the research. Under the research tab, you'll see a database that you can click on and be able to search different items. So you could type in collagen, and I don't know how many you might find. 5 studies, maybe 10 studies, I don't know, but there's 7,500 research articles on light photobiomodulation. Okay, and I'll just mention here too, questions come up, well, photobiomodulation, is that like red light therapy? Yes, it's like red light therapy. It's like cold level laser therapy, low level light therapy, low level laser therapy. There's like 100 terms out there, and they decided then to culminate all those terms under one term, so it's much easier to search in search engines, and that's photobiomodulation. So PBM is the new term for that. Okay. So on brain issues, I'll just mention it is possible if you know the area, like as in the one fellow Josh's case. He knew, and there's others too that have treated specifically where they know that there's a lesion closer in on the brain, on the skull. They can just treat that area. We have been recommending 1 minute of the bright red and 3 minutes of the near infrared for the penetration to treat that area. And they can, they can do it 1 to 3, I would suggest 2 or 3 times a day if you'd like to. I mean, how often do we get hungry? Probably 3 times a day. So if we get hungry, don't you think the cells might be getting hungry? So if you feed them and keep them right full, they'll be able to do more than just treating them once a day or giving them the energy once a day. Okay, so a question came up about invisible. Why is it invisible? And it's just our eyes can only pick up certain wavelengths. So it can only pick up really most of the spectrum of the what you see as far as the rainbow, all the different colors. When you put them all together, it's white. So when you go through a prism, you know, 3-sided device, it'll cause the different wavelengths to separate. That's when you see the rainbow in the sky. It's those different colors. But outside of that rainbow are in the UV spectrum, we can't really see. There's a certain point in time, it's a purplish look, and then beyond that, it's gone. Now, when I was showing the light here, it looked purple, but that's only because the camera looks at it and sees it and tries to put a color to it. So that's why it looks purple. Okay, Rosemary is asking, thank you, Rosemary, for your question. I've been having severe, unexplainable joint and muscle pain. Just find out there's a mitochondrial problem. Would lights help me with this? Yes, photobiomodulation, red light therapy, low-level laser therapy, low-level, any of those terms. But no, actually, if you're talking joints, you're going to have enough power. So to use some of the low power devices that you can get on Amazon are not going to cut it. You need to get enough energy so you can go right into the joints and give the energy. The mitochondria is the power plant of the cell. Some call it the battery of the cell. And that can get worn down. And there's different mechanisms there's called ion transfer. There's all sorts of things that are going on in the cell. And the mitochondria is the power plant, and what you can do is the light can go into those cells, into the mitochondria, and be absorbed by that mitochondria and converted into energy. And that energy then causes an increase in ATP, and there's just a whole host of different creating nitrous oxide that is a vascular. It opens up the vascular system, so you get even more blood flow through the area. So mitochondrial problems there's something gumming up the cell. It's not working properly. And you can use the red light and the near infrared to reach into that depth. And just if you're uncertain, can light actually go into the cell and be absorbed? Well, you just have to look outside and you'll see trees and plants and everything else. Well, they're absorbing certain wavelengths of light, converting that energy, converting it into energy for the plant to grow. And so trees and plants and vegetation has been doing that for a long time. But our bodies can actually as well absorb that wavelength and convert it to energy and help the cell to function. I think of when I pass through the hills of Kentucky and you see these very steep mountains. And if you tried with a 4-cylinder pickup truck and with a full load in the back to go up one of those hills, you may or may not make it. If you try and make it, it may take you forever because you'd have to really go slow and go up the hill. You may not make it. The motor may be damaged. It just won't do it. But if you had an 8-cylinder pickup truck and it was running on good gas, you'd be able to go up that hill no problem. And really, these products are like 8-cylinder or 12-cylinder vehicles that have the energy to go up. And they're running, this light allows for the cells to get like high octane fuel. So they can run really, really well. Got more questions here. We have links to our different information on the videos that we have. Please visit we also have links to past webinars where you can watch where we interview other people. We had Jennifer Flora on from West Virginia. Joanie, a question came across from Margaret. Are you on Synthroid or desiccated thyroid?
Yes, I am, but my levels, I mean, the strength of the medication has come down. Like I had to be at 0.2 for a very long time. Then I was down to 0.175 of Synthroid. Then
Yes.
Then he had me at 0.150. Now he wants to bring me down to 0.125, which I'm there now. And usually when that happens, your energy starts to go down again because I'm
Yes.
having heart palpitations up too high. So now I'm like I'm just there's no change. I'm not going up, I'm not going down, and I'm not gaining weight. So I'm on the low level, like not the lowest level that I'd like to be on. I'd like to be on 0.005 and just use all the modalities that I use. But the 1.125 is better than 0.2. So using this light, now that was over a few years, but this past way, like since I got the light, I'm now down to 0.125 because he said it was still running high before I started the light. So that
Okay,
was
thank you.
interesting.
Thank you. Yes, it's possible for, and I know some people that also, you have to have somebody watching you with the thyroid, getting blood tests and knowing where you're at with your thyroid. But definitely, this is something that if you start using the light, you may need to start dropping your medication, or in some cases, you may have to start increasing, dropping your medication whichever way you are. So some people are and need their thyroid to come up. Others need they're too high and they need their thyroid to come down. But either way, it helps the body to come into that regulation zone. We had one individual who had their TSH go from 21, which is the thyroid is barely operating at that point with a TSH at 21. And they did the red light therapy very aggressively with a endocrinologist watching very closely. And they ended up in 5 days, there was a secondary blood work done. And that's never done usually because it takes so very long for the thyroid levels to change. But in 5 days, her thyroid went from 21 to 6. And that's amazing. And the endocrinologist was just dumbfounded that much change. And so he asked for another set of blood work to be done again. And that was done at the 10-day mark, and she was now at 1.7. So a significant change for helping somebody with low thyroid. And so that's why it's very, very important to be, when you're using the light to try and improve some of these things, to very accurately monitor what's going on and make sure you adjust accordingly under someone who really knows, a naturopath or endocrinologist or somebody who's really in the know and watching what's going on. They may not believe it at first, but definitely don't jump to making your own decisions. Get some counsel on that. We're not doctors here, medical doctors. We just know what it can help with. So can red light therapy be, thank you, Joanie. There's a question here from Catherine about methylene blue and red light. Please check that out. It's do serious research on that. There's some beautiful stuff that's going on out there, and I can't get into it, but look up methylene blue and how it can be very helpful. They use methylene blue for carbon monoxide poisoning. So it's when people have had really rough situation where their cells aren't working right. And so check it out. Thank you, Catherine, for your question. Shelley is asking, can red light therapy help with neuropathy in the legs and hands? Yes. Shelley, you want to be able to figure out where the neuropathy is coming from. So it may not be treating specifically the area, may work, but it may be above the area. So let's say, give an example, you have a neuropathy in your feet. It may be that it has nothing to do with the feet other than, yeah, your nerves, but the nerves may be having a problem in the ankle, or may have the problem in the knee, or it could be in the hip, or it could be in the spine. So one needs to track down the area and try and figure out what area, where is it being triggered from. And I can tell you that one senior individual at 92 years old, she had for a long time problems with neuropathy in her one foot. Ever since she had surgery, she had some kind of real problem that she needed surgery on her hip. And she said ever since then, she had neuropathy in her leg, and very bad, where she had really tough time trying to have feeling. And I suggested, well, since you might want to try treating the hip as a good starting point. And in this case, it was right where the surgery was done. And within a few days, she had her feeling back in her feet, in that foot. So pretty amazing how, if you can try and figure out where is the problem. Okay. I find it, this is from Susan, I find it helpful to have assisted lymphatic therapy to help get the sludge going where it should be recycled. Yeah, exactly. This is a great, the light therapy can be very helpful to other modalities of treatment. So there's no problem with combination therapy. I see no problem, it's great to work with other things that can work, as well as obviously nutritionally. Another question from Cheryl, can red light therapy or infrared help with high blood pressure, systolic in particular? I cannot answer that. I don't have any knowledge of that, so I'm just passing along. It'd be for yourself to explore and research, and please let us know if you do try some things, what you have found is helpful. That goes the same for other things, like other ailments in the body. Another question came in about cholesterol levels. I really can't comment to that. I'm not a medical doctor. So I just would love to try and help you. Another thing that's come through is about animals. So yeah, we've been able to see animals being helped. As a matter of fact, there's several animals that I know, some dogs and cats, that their pain was so severe that the owners of their pets they thought they needed to put the animal down to stop the pain. And they actually used the light therapy, and they were able to have the cat or dog back to where it was before the injury. I do remember of one situation where a Labrador had a big lab, had chased a squirrel across ice. I've owned a lab, and they are funny animals. They're smart at the same time. I think they possess some dumbness. I don't know what it is, but anyways, this large black lab took off across the ice and managed to catch up, get a lot of speed going across the ice, but then didn't realize that it couldn't stop. So when it came to the other side of the pond, it came to a wallop against the wall and of the pond, and really hurt itself. And so they had to literally hoist the dog from the rear end up so that it could go up the stairs. And they were feeling so bad about what all happened and how the animal was going through misery. They thought they would try the light, and they did, and they treated the hip area. well, the dog returned to chasing squirrels again. So, hey, this red light therapy, I don't think it'll chase away dumbness, whether that's in animals or people. So, anyways, it's kind of neat how it's been able to help a number of dogs and cats. I know one other cat story is the fella had an older cat. Now the cat was relegated to only one room in the house. It wouldn't venture out past the one room where they had the litter station and that was and feeding station, just one room. And the fellow got the mini canopy, this guy here, and he decided to treat his cat with it. And the cat was, I think, 15 years old, and it was having a tough time getting around. And he started turning on the light. Now, the first time the cat was very hesitant about going under the light, so you kind of bring the cat under, and was not happy going under the light the very first time. Second time was a lot easier. Next thing you know, he flips on the light and the cat comes out of the nice, soft, sleeping area and pillow and comes under the light. And he says, eventually it got to the point where when I shut off the light, his cat would actually snarl at him. So that cat ended up not only starting to tour the house again, going up and down the stairs into the different rooms, but then it also had one of those doors that flip open and started prowling the neighborhood once again. So quite a change using light therapy for his cat. So Geraldine is asking, does the PBM modulate the thyroid? I would say it does it this way. It actually gives the cells the energy they need so they can upregulate or downregulate whatever. They've been able to find that whether it's hyper or hypo, on different types of chemistry that's going on in the body, it brings it into the right balance is what happens. So Catherine sent us a good link and we're sharing it with everyone. Catherine, thank you for the links that you're sending, and we will have this video posted soon, within a few days to maybe a maximum week, but please come back and visit us. We will have another webinar in a week's time, next Tuesday. So thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I wish you all the best. May you have God's blessings in your life. So thank you. And I really hope that you can see not only help for yourself, for your indications that you've had problems, and help to see those improve, but also loan this light out if you have them. Loan this light out to your friends. You'll be doing them a great service and helping them in their situations as well. And please tell everybody about this webinar, all your friends, and let them know that we're trying to do our best in helping people get better. So thank you for joining us tonight, and all the best. Thank you, Joanie, for your testimony. Thank you. Any last words, Joanie?
Thank you for having me, and I'm really glad that I am using the light therapy. I am going to recommend it to so many of my clients just to try it. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. All the best. All right. Bye for now.